Israel has expanded its evacuation orders in Khan Yunis, located in southern Gaza, forcing tens of thousands of Palestinian residents and families to flee in the dark as tank shell explosions echoed around them. The Israeli military has stated that they are targeting Hamas militants who governed Gaza before the war, using this area to launch attacks and fire rockets. On Saturday, an Israeli airstrike hit a school in Gaza City where displaced Palestinians were sheltering, killing at least 90 people, which has sparked international outrage. The Israeli military claimed they were targeting a Hamas and Islamic Jihad command center, a claim denied by both groups, labeling it as a pretext. The strike reportedly killed 19 militants. In Khan Yunis, evacuation orders were issued for central, eastern, and western districts, marking one of the largest evacuations in the 10-month-long conflict, just 2 days after tanks re-entered the city's eastern part. The order, disseminated via social media, text messages, and voice recordings, warned residents to evacuate immediately to newly established humanitarian zones, declaring their current locations as dangerous war zones. Felipe Lazzarini, head of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, stated that Gaza's residents are trapped with nowhere to go. He described the dire situation where some could only carry their children, while others packed their entire lives into a small bag, heading to overcrowded shelters that are already overwhelmed by families. They have lost everything and need everything, Lazzarini said. In the preceding 24 hours, the Israeli military claimed to have struck approximately 30 Hamas military targets, including military structures, anti-tank missile launch sites, and weapon storage facilities. Islamic Jihad militants reportedly fired mortar rounds at Israeli forces in the eastern part of Khan Yunis. Later on Sunday, an Israeli airstrike near a Khan Yunis market in the city center killed 4 Palestinians and injured several others. Smoke trails were visible from areas in the east and west of the city where Israeli aircraft conducted strikes. Residents reported that 2 multi-story buildings were bombed. According to Gaza's health ministry, nearly 40,000 Palestinians have been killed since Israel began its assault on Gaza last October, with the death toll rising daily. While Gaza officials say most of the dead are civilians, Israel asserts that at least 1/3 were militants. Israel has reported 329 soldiers killed in Gaza. The conflict began when Hamas militants infiltrated southern Israel on October 7th, killing 200 people, mostly civilians, and capturing over 250 hostages, according to reports. The United Nations states that most of Gaza's 2.3 million residents have been displaced, with the narrow strip largely reduced to rubble. Both Palestinian and UN officials have indicated that there are no safe areas left in Gaza. Even designated humanitarian zones, such as Al-Mawasi in western Khan Yunis, where evacuees are directed, have been repeatedly bombed by Israeli forces. Tens of thousands of people fled their homes and shelters in the middle of the night, moving west towards Mawasi and north to Deir al-Balah, already overcrowded with hundreds of thousands of displaced people. We are exhausted. This is the 10th time my family and I have had to leave our shelter, said Zaki Mohammed, 28, who lives in the Hamad housing complex in western Khan Yunis, where residents of 2 high-rise buildings were ordered to evacuate. People are carrying their belongings, children, hopes, and fears, and heading towards the unknown, because there is no safe place, he told Reuters via a messaging app. We are running from one death to another.